When I started applying the law of attraction to my life on a daily basis, everything in my life started to go my way all the time. Life just simply got better. My relationship with my teenage daughter got better. I saw major improvements in my skin and weight. I had all the energy in the world. Even the little things in life would always go my way. I honestly felt like I was high all the time, high on life. The intensity of this high feeling will depend on how strongly a person applies the LOA to their life. For some, it may be a mild feeling of a bit more happiness than they are used to. For others who use it to the fullest extent, it literally can feel like you have been placed into another world. Everything and everyone is exceptionally beautiful. It can feel as though you are in an out-of-body experience at times. For me, this is metaphorically speaking. But I have heard of cases where people meditated in such a profound manner that this has actually happened, or at least the person felt it and thought it actually happened. You may feel a heightened awareness of everything around you. For those who use this universal law to its fullest potential, they will see colors become more vivid. Animal lovers may notice that they see animals more often, and that the animals come closer than usual. Some people may actually be able to feel their own vibes they are giving off into the world and understand exactly why all these animals are coming around. Most people will find themselves making fewer mistakes and having fewer accidents. This is something I paid extra close attention to when I began using the law of attraction. No matter how strongly you are positively using this law, you will still have negative thoughts every now and then. These negative thoughts are manageable, but not completely unavoidable. What I found is, when I have a negative thought, I will experience some kind of small accident, or I would make a little mistake of some kind. For instance, if all of a sudden I think of something negative, I will end up spilling something on myself, or I'll stub my toe. When these things happen, I take notice of what it was I was thinking about at the time, or shortly prior to the accident. About 95% of the time, my accidents happen as I'm having a negative thought or shortly after. I use these mistakes and accidents as a reminder to myself that my thoughts are not in line with what I want. Realizing this helps me to make a change and start thinking in a more positive way. The law of attraction works best when we use it towards specific things. However, when you begin using it with full force, it begins to work with everything else in your life, even without even trying. You will notice the law of attraction working very effectively for everything you think about, good or bad, without any intention at all. A good example of this is the day my husband came home from work early. My husband never comes home early. But one day, when I was using the law of attraction in full force, I said to myself, wouldn't it be great if he came home early today? That day was the first time in about 2 years that he actually came home early. I wasn't focusing on it. I had no reason to focus on it, because the likelihood of it actually happening wasn't worth my efforts. It was just a quick thought that passed through my mind, and that was all it took. Because I was using the LOA all day, every day, and for everything, the universe had become so accustomed to giving me what I wanted that I even got what I wanted with little to no effort put into it. This may seem like small potatoes, but if you knew my husband's work habits, you might not think so. Also, because of his work habits, it's a very odd thought. Working with every thought you have, whether you realize it or not. The more you deliberately use the law of attraction to your benefit, the more of these coincidences you will see. You will see them happen all around you from the moment you wake up till you go to bed at night. It really does start to feel like you're in the twilight zone. Quite literally. They mention something to this effect in the movie, The Secret, and it is 100% accurate. Once I learned how to use the LOA, I wasn't living my life by default anymore. I knew how to use the law of attraction. I understood with full belief that everything that happens in our lives, we are subconsciously bringing upon ourselves. Most people who don't understand this are living their lives by default. This means they don't understand what the law of attraction is, or they don't believe in it. These people just keep living from day to day thinking, sometimes we have good luck and sometimes we have bad luck. Or we play the cards we are dealt. They lack the understanding that we all make our own luck as a result of the way we think and feel. People think that what happens to us is the luck of the draw. They don't understand that we can put those 5 cards back and pick up 4 aces and a king if we so choose. Unfortunately, too many people who live in this manner end up with many more trouble in their lives than those using the law of attraction to their benefit. Many people don't have naturally positive attitudes, and as a result, they end up with very few comforts in their lives. These people then become even more miserable due to their unfortunate circumstances, which they have actually been causing themselves without even realizing it. These people believe that their unhappiness is due to lack of luck or uncontrollable and unfortunate circumstances not of their own doing. They have no idea that by controlling the way we think and feel, we can deliberately create whatever we want in life. People living on the streets can one day own a multi-million-dollar business someday if they could only learn to control their thinking patterns and emotions. Some people are positive thinkers naturally. If you are not deliberately using the law of attraction, but you are one of these people who naturally carry positive attitudes and emotions, you will probably still end up with what you want. You will still be living your life by default. But by default or not, the law of attraction is still at work. Because of your positivity, the LOA is automatically working for you in a positive way. Your positive attitude is bringing about good things into your life, whether you believe in the law of attraction or not. If you wholeheartedly believe that happiness and prosperity will be yours, then even by default, it will be yours. Next time you're out and about, whether at the grocery store, the mall, a park, or anywhere there might be a lot of people, take notice of those around you. Watch them. You can actually identify the people who either use the law of attraction in a positive way or naturally carry with them good positive-natured attitudes. These people hold their heads up high. They smile and they have a positive aura which makes you want to be near them. They will usually be dressed nicely and drive nice cars. You will see they are polite and cordial to others. You may come across people who have 2 of those items, dressed nicely and the car, but you will still be able to notice whether or not they are using positivity to get those things. If they don't have that aura, smile, and friendly attitude, unfortunately, it wouldn't be surprising if one day all their financial blessings disappeared, for that's what happens to most well-to-do people with negative thoughts and attitudes. These people either gained what they have by inheritance or by being unethical or cheating. Some of these people have gotten to where they are by being good, honest, and positive people at some point in their lives. Unfortunately, though, if their attitude has changed since then, and that positivity is not what you are seeing in that person now, it is inevitable that their wealth will not last unless they revert back to the goodness that helped them to get to where they are in the first place. I'd like to talk to you a moment about wealth. Wealth isn't only by financial means. When I say it is inevitable that their wealth won't last, I mean all different types of wealth. Maybe these negative people will live and die with financial wealth in the bank while still maintaining their negative attitudes. But that doesn't mean that they will maintain a wealthy life as a whole. I have always thought the actions of men the best interpreters of their thoughts. John Locke. God created us and this world with one thing in mind, our happiness. He wants us all to be content and satisfied with the life He has given us. His intention is for us all to live a life of luxury. These luxuries include health, happiness, love, satisfaction, contentment, good finances, and anything else you would like to add to that list. God has made this world work in such a way that we are all able to have whatever it is that we want. That's why the universe is endless and filled with endless energy as well. That energy that the universe is filled with is our never-ending supply of happiness for every human on Earth. God has also given us another gift. He gave us free will. The meaning of free will isn't only about the choices we make when it comes to what we do. It's also the gift of choosing our thoughts. With this free will and the never-ending space of energy that we have been given to create with, we have the power to make magic happen. That is why they say that we are made in the likeness of God. This idea works without believing in God as well. Whatever it is you believe in, God, Buddha, the gods of Hinduism, the universe, it all works in the same way. We as people are not happy because we have things. We have things because we are happy. This leads me to another important thing that I want you to understand. It is okay to want things. There is nothing wrong with wanting more in your life. What is wrong, though, is when you are not happy when you don't have it. Wanting things and needing them in order to be happy are two very different things. Feeling that you need something in order to be happy will always prevent you from acquiring your desires. Here are a couple little stories about wanting things. I used to know someone who claimed he didn't need much in life. We'll call this person John Doe. John Doe was happy with the bare minimum. In fact, he was supposedly so satisfied with having nothing that he would talk about others in a negative way for wanting too much. If he came across someone who wanted things, or even people who already had things, he would call them money hungry. John Doe couldn't keep a job. Every time he got one, he would sabotage the job because he thought the position in the company he was given was unfair. He believed that because he was an assistant manager at one of his prior jobs, he should get the same position at his new job. When John was hired at entry levels, he would become bitter and unsatisfied. Because of this, he would get into arguments with the managers or call in sick until he was fired, or he would simply quit without notice. Needless to say, John didn't have much. He had a negative outlook on people. He always had an excuse of why he couldn't do something, and he believed this world treated him unfairly. Now, it's about 16 years later, and not much has changed. John Doe is going on 40 years old, and he still lives with his father. He doesn't have a job, he is on welfare, he doesn't have a driver's license, a car, or a bank account. It's very unfortunate, but his thoughts and actions have kept him in this position, which is exactly what he always claimed to have wanted. The reason John Doe doesn't have much in his life isn't really because he never wanted it. Everyone wants things. We're human. It's natural for us to want things. No, he doesn't have things because deep down he felt he either couldn't get the things he wanted, and so it was easier just to give up on any hopes for them, or he didn't feel he deserved them. In reality, neither of these ideas he had were true. John could have had so much more. He deserved so much more. If he had only seen the possibilities before him and believed in his ability to achieve them, he would be living a completely different existence right now. But he saw money as a bad thing. People who had it were selfish. People who had it only cared about one thing, money itself. Because he focused on how unfair life was, and because he focused on all the excuses of why he couldn't do something, he got all that returned to him. Even now, if someone tells him of job opportunities, his one answer is, "How can I get a job when I don't have a car?" If you mention the bus, his answer is, "How can I buy a bus pass when I don't have any money?" He never understood. Where there is a will to do something, there is a way. John Doe isn't the only person I know who had similar thoughts as his. I myself felt for a long time that I couldn't do much either. The only job experience I had was in retail, restaurants, or childcare. After having my last 2 children, I didn't want to go into childcare again. And it made no sense to get a retail or restaurant job because I would pay out more money for childcare for my kids than I would bring in. Because I never saw my own potential to do more, I would simply tell everyone I was happy just staying home. I would say that I didn't need more than what my husband was bringing in. I was lying to my whole family, but most of all, I was lying to myself. The truth was, I would have loved to bring in some income. I would have loved to be able to go out shopping and actually pay with my own money, money I earned myself. But being 36 years old and completely unaware of my skills, I had no idea that I was capable of it. First of all, I was embarrassed for not having done anything with myself by now. Because of this, if I were to have tried something and failed, to me, it would have made my failure look even worse. So, there is another excuse to not even try. And my reasons for not trying just keep going around and around. But if I were really honest with myself, I would say that my excuses were just that, excuses. I used to be very much like John Doe. At some point in my life, I learned that I would not be able to get the things I wanted in life. I learned and believed that I wouldn't become successful, so why bother? It was easier for me to just give up and save the time of trouble and embarrassment. I was one of the lucky ones. Too many people live this way and never learn the truth. Thankfully, I learned exactly how capable I am of anything I want to achieve in life. Once I learned this, I decided I wanted more. I saw my possibilities in front of me. I acknowledged the challenges, I believed I could do it, and I began making things happen. Had I continued believing that I was same thing that the universe or God wants for you. If you act as though you don't want things, you are limiting yourself and your potential. I am also using this as an example of what happens when we don't go after what we want, and that is nothing. Nothing happens unless we make it happen. Want what you want and don't be upset if you don't have it yet. Be grateful for every little thing that you do have. Even if the only thing to be grateful for is the air you breathe, be grateful for that. With this attitude, you will one day have the things you want and then some. That's it for today. If you liked this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like this video. More importantly, share it with someone who you think will benefit from this. Everyone deserves a chance in their life, after all.